welcome. This is your first time, right, Ernest?
Yes, my first
Okay,
time.
this ain't the last time. Don't worry about it. This ain't the last time. Well, gentlemen, welcome to Pop Your Shit.
Appreciate you having us.
Yes, thank you for having us. We sure appreciate you.
All right, all right. Y'all ready to just jump on in?
You want us to introduce ourselves or
No, no, because
okay.
I want to jump in. I'm
Okay.
like,
Well, do your thing. Do your thing.
no,
Hey.
no, no, no. I want y'all to introduce yourselves, please.
Uh I'm Arthur Michael Rain. I've been doing this for about close to 3 years now. We co-author. I have my own series, Secrets of a Billionaire Bishop series, and we collaborate on several different books. But I've been in law enforcement for close to 22 years now, just getting our feet wet in the book world, the TikTok world. Uh, I let him have his 5 minutes of fame.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm author Ernest Lee. Of course, I write with Mikah Rain. We co-author quite a few books. We started collaborating in 2022 and released our first novel in 2023. Um, and as a solo author, I've written one novel. But before that, I wrote plays in the 90s into the 2000s. I've always been a writer of poetry. Um, so writing has always been a passion. It's always been something that's been in my life. And just as of the past few years, we've decided to start working together on novels. And then, of course, this year, well, actually last year for Mikah, he started writing as a solo author, and I did this year. So basically, kind of the same thing. We both have a background in law enforcement. We've been in law enforcement around the same amount of time. I just recently relocated from Texas to Arkansas, so now I'm an Arkansas police officer. But outside of that, our passion is the writing.
What part of Arkansas?
I'm in Hot Springs Village, so I'm west of Little Rock, just north of the city of Hot Springs. Hot Springs Village is the largest gated community in North America. It
Mm-hmm.
has 9 golf courses and 12 lakes actually, and within our gated community. So it's kind of a cool place to be a police officer.
Just curious, because my people from Arkansas.
hmm
Why Arkansas?
So in the late '80s, my mother worked for Bell Helicopter Textron, and she was part of the union, and she knew some people that would vacation here in Hot Springs Village, and the community was just kind of starting to be developed by Cooper Communities at that time, and so my mother brought her best friend, who is Micah's mother, and they brought us, and so we came here to visit in the late '80s, and I mean honestly, I fell in love with it. So when I got married in the late '90s, we got married in '99. In 2000, I brought my wife here. She fell in love with it. She maybe 5 or 6 years later, she brought her parents. They fell in love with it. They relocated here, and they had been retired here for probably about 4 or 5 years. So our plan was when I retired from Texas to come here, start the second half of the journey of our life here in Hot Springs Village.
I love that. I love it. I love it. All right. I'm not gonna just jump in. I have some questions first, and then we're gonna jump into this foolishness. Because I read it.
We ready? We ready?
Are you sure? Because
Yeah,
I
yes,
was 50 watt hot. 50 watt hot. Okay, so why did you guys decide to collaborate first before writing your individual projects?
uh, I think we kind of just fell into it. The first book that I had initially I started on that book when my son was maybe 5 or 6 years old, and it was He Keeps Running Back. And I wrote the book, never finished it. I let a handful of
Okay,
people
Ernst, you
read
can't have that on camera.
Hmm,
Because they
I'm
they
sorry.
will ban
I'm
me and you.
sorry.
it.
Enjoy.
I let a handful of people read it, and they liked it, and they were curious what I did with it. So when we talked about two different books. I had an idea for a serial killer. He had an idea for a detective book, and we kind of just combined the ideas and mashed it together, and we started writing that book, which turned out to be Police King. Once we got about, I say we were almost finished with that book. I said, "Hey," I told him, I said, "Hey, I got this other book that I started and never finished with it." I said, "Here, take it, do what you want with it." We threw some ideas, put some ideas together, and that's when we came up with the idea of He Keeps Running Back. So that's kind of how everything kind of blossomed.
Okay. Um, in the society that we live in,
Mhm.
the bad boys, so to speak, always get the praise, and law enforcement does not. Especially if you are you're considered a nerd if you read or write books. Was that the case for you both?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think some of those um, stereotypes when it comes to um, what is square, what's cool, especially when you fall on different sides of the law. Yeah, of course we acknowledge that things are that way, but man, I feel like the world is changing. You know what I mean, and culture changes. To where we can celebrate people who are fall on the side of the law. That it's considered lawful. I think there is um, a lot of admiration for people who do our line of work, and there is a lot of excitement into it. Some of the most popular TV shows have been shows about people doing work and first responders, people doing law enforcement work. So there is a certain amount of excitement to it. I can't speak for the female audience and their perception and what they're attracted to. So we're just trying to create characters that can be people can find interesting, people can be entertained by, that maybe don't fall on one side of the law. But we're writing both sides, and I think we have an interesting perspective when it comes to both sides of the law. I like to be able to see that the difference between your police officers and your convicted criminals a lot of times is who gets caught and who doesn't. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And so it's not that we're better than anybody. I'm grateful that my mother raised me in a way that, some of the mistakes that I made, they didn't completely derail my entire life. You know what I mean? So I don't see myself as being better than nobody. I know I make a lot of the same mistakes that other people make. And I do apologize for
Oh, no, you're fine. You're fine. They trying to remove you, but I just want we going on. So it's fine. Um, do you guys feel like you're changing the tide with being authors from being nerdy to being not sex symbols, but smeck symbols? Let me make sure I say that right. Smeck symbols, but more so good role models, good uh, creatives in the space, because I know a lot of times they'd be like, "Oh my God, he's an author," ugh. But you guys are not the typical authors. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Absolutely, it makes
Okay.
perfect sense. I think that I think we're just being ourselves. I think there's nothing that we're doing that we're not necessarily that we're doing ourselves that we're intentionally doing to decipher ourselves. That's just who we are. We're just who we are. That's why a lot of our books and what we write can't be put into a one genre. We're just we're across the board, and I think that's how we differentiate. We've always been that way. We've always been different, and it just comes naturally.
Yeah, and I think we don't wanna ride anybody's wave. We're trying to create our own wave, and we're comfortable kind of being in our own skin and being different. Um, we We feel like we're diverse. We like a lot of different things, and we like to try to represent a lot of our different interests and the things that we gravitate towards. But I think we both come to the conclusion that we're not the only ones. That we represent people that kind of feel the same way, and they want to see something different, and they may not necessarily be gravitating towards the way things have been. And I think people are more receptive to things changing.
But are you different? Because to me, I don't see you guys as being different. I don't like the word different because to me, it's just a different facet of life.
Hmm.
Not so much different. Does that make sense? It's not.
Absolutely.
I feel like when you say you're different, then it makes it seem like you are particularly just nerdy, obtuse, and that's not just the case to me. I feel like you guys are hip enough, you guys know enough, you old enough to know better, and you guys make different choices versus the ones that go against law enforcement and decide they want to live this crazy life. And I know that women flock to the bad boy, but really there is no security there. So I hate to say that you guys are different. I think that it's an alternative way of life.
Mm-hmm.
You guys make different choices. I wouldn't say that you're different. I would probably say that you're more involved.
I'll piggyback on what Ernest said. I don't think we want to ride the same wave that everybody ride. Yeah, the dope boy, and that story's been told 5 million ways. And it's like I don't want to do that. Let's do something unexpected, something different. Well, and that's where I think that's where the difference comes. We're trying to reach. And one woman, I had a woman do a review, and one thing she said, when I read the Bishop book, it was a palate cleanser. She said I had been reading all these hood stories and shoot 'em up, shoot 'em, dope boy stuff, and then she read that, and it was just a refreshing palate cleanser for her. So, and I'm like, I'm cool with that. So I think that's where we kind of different.
Okay. So speaking of palate cleansers, let's just get into Prison Bay. What the hell?
So
What the hell?
You started it.
What the hell? So I can't spoil it, and I'm not gonna spoil it because when it comes out next week, I think you're gonna have some pissed off people.
That's what I told him.
And I wasn't so much pissed off, but I was genuinely concerned about the state of mind of these people who were having this child lead the charge. I'm concerned because these old men is really letting this little girl run shit.
Yeah. But she got it. You see it. It came from her uncle. And she's very smart, almost too smart for her own good.
And is.
I think when you look at influence, that it's not necessarily about influence is really the ability to have people follow you, and that seems to be something that she had mastered. We in all the stories we're going to try to put some form of strategy game. So in that story, like you see like the dominoes or fichas, which is they're the Cuban version of strategy. And it plays an important role because when you learn to strategize, then you learn to be able to influence, and then you learn to kind of manipulate your surroundings. And she was able to do it at a very young age, And then of course you see things change when she gets to prison. Some of those abilities kind of don't translate well to being in a situation where there's other girls that are kind of like her.
Yeah.
Okay. Without speaking too much, I see some similarities. Some paths that Antoine has taken. He ends up like somebody very familiar to him. But where is Carmen in all this? Will that be answered in book two?
Not in book 2.
Yeah,
But she will re-emerge.
not in the Prison Bay trilogy. Not in the Prison Bay trilogy. We got something else where we're gonna bring her back, but not in the Prison Bay trilogy.
Yeah.
I know you
The,
don't.
the thing that a lot of people we haven't revealed them, is most of our books tie in together. They're linked some type of way. Like Police King is linked to this book. Running Back is linked to this book. They're all intertwined some type of way. It might be by a small thread, but they're all linked together in some type of way.
Oh, wait a minute. So is Addicted to a Texas Cowboy tied too?
We haven't tied it yet, but we definitely will. We definitely will tie it.
Yeah.
Blasphemy.
I think that's where his creative genius kind of falls into the where we always find a way to link these books together and tie them together and weave them together, and it just sometimes it happens organically, and we'd be like, hey, we haven't done anything with this character, there's room for this, and then we're like, well, we can add this to it, and it's like Legos almost. We just piece it together.
Okay. I can't wait to see it, because this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. Okay,
Yeah.
let's talk about Addicted to a Texas Cowboy. Why?
You.
No. I
Yes.
said I wanted a cowboy book. I didn't say do the foolishness and the mayhem too. Even though I knew it was coming, I just didn't know. Why that man Shalong is to his neck? Why are you doing it to these ladies?
You have to remember who you asked to write this book for you.
So you're admitting on this video that this is my fault.
Absolutely, 100%. You asked Frankenstein to create you a husband, he gonna give you the monster.
I didn't say I ain't said nothing about no YN.
I'm just saying that's in theory what you asked us to put.
I said I want a cowboy book,
and we're not gonna give you nothing ordinary.
But why he got to be at YN? Why he don't know how to drive no car?
That like I said, that goes back to him. He did all that.
So Ernest, I understand that you was in charge of the dialogue.
Yeah. Yeah. So
who have you been talking to?
I think it's important to develop characters that are memorable, and in order to do that, I think they got to be different, and that was really what I was reaching for. That he had his own vernacular, his own way of speaking that was different, but it felt familiar. You know what I mean? Because it was country, and it was sayings that they would kind of be in the back of your head. Like I think I may have heard something like that before, and now that I'm in rural Arkansas, I noticed since I've been here, I've heard some things, and I'll be like, man, where does that come from? Somebody said, oh man, that picture is cattywampus, and all these different things, and that kind of got me there, realizing that the vernacular here was very different. I guess just rural in general, the vernacular can be very different. So I was just trying to tap into that and just make them different and memorable.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to turn my phone off. Sorry. I heard it dinging and it was getting ready to start ringing. So I apologize. Go ahead.
No, but that's really just basically what it was. Just trying to make a memorable character. Just trying to develop something that I thought would be different,
Okay. I'm never going to forget Bran. Ever. I don't know necessarily I would want him for me, but I know it's a few of them old cougars that want him. But whose idea to the Tesla scene? Whose idea was that? And whose idea was the battery charger scene? That's all. I don't need you to go into any explanation. Whose idea was it?
I think the battery thing was kind of like Micah did the research, and he's like, we have to put the electrosex into it. So, and I wrote it, and then the Tesla. Micah wrote the Tesla scene, and we knew from the very beginning that we had to show how he got interested into the BDSM, and so, but we knew we wanted him to not be with the person who introduced him to that lifestyle, and so we knew we wanted to kind of like what you start the story in the middle of the action, so we kind of wanted to start it at a climactic point so that we would be able to keep people's interest. And but Micah wrote it. Micah wrote that.
We kind of both brainstormed on it, and I just, I wrote it, I tweaked it, whatever, and we agreed on the outcome. But that's one thing that I think we both enjoy doing. We don't want to drag you into a story and lollygag you into a story. We're gonna drop you dead in the middle of the fire, and you're gonna be like, "It's hot in here."
Yeah.
What's going on? It's hot, and that's the thing that we enjoy doing. So with every book that we introduce, it's hot in the beginning.
You ain't lying.
It'll be hot. Yeah.
You ain't lying. But why do y'all have to start off on before page 10? Can you ease the people into it? Y'all don't ease nobody into nothing. It's just
no. We gotta put you. We gotta, and we gonna keep putting. Keep pouring gasoline on it as we go.
I don't know what's wrong with y'all. I don't know what's going on.
I think for me, I've read a lot of books, and you can tell when people are writing just to get a word count.
Right.
I hate that. I'm like, okay, come on. What do we? It's chapters you could have left out of books because they're just page fillers. And I'm like, let's just get to the point. Let's get there. Let's go. Let's burn the house down while we're going.
And burn the house down. You did. I think you had some women having, yeah, they needed some stimulation and some therapy because you can have these ladies. The post that I'm tagged in, I be like, I know y'all lying. No, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
All right. So Prison Babe will be released on Juneteenth, correct?
Right.
All right. So y'all make sure this is not the same as the Bishop.
No.
It's as messy as the Bishop, but it's not the same.
Yes.
And then hold on. And then and it's not the same as Brand.
No. I
But
think it's more psychological. I think it's more psychological.
It ain't never lied.
Yeah.
You have never lied. I don't know what is wrong with you. I understand y'all creative, but y'all blow my mind every time.
I mean, this book, I was like I told him, I'm worried. I said I'm worried because you're gonna hate the majority of the characters in that book. Everybody's gonna be furious. I was like, how's that gonna adapt? Because you're gonna be furious.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Who do you feel like is the biggest culprit? If you can answer that, because if you don't feel like you can answer that, then don't answer it.
I'll let them take that because I don't think I can answer that.
You say the biggest culprit?
Mm-hmm.
In what?
In Prison Babe. Because everybody.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think
the girl just run rampant.
Mm-hmm. I think it is. I think it is Shay. I think it is the Prison Babe. I think she's because so let me kind of give a little background. I wanted, I spent a lot of my career working in jails, and so when you look at what is the most, and I did a lot of hiring. I ran the training division, the hiring division, and so when you look at what's important that we teach people just coming into that career field, working in the jail, usually people like it's defensive tactics. You need to teach them how to defend themselves. But I saw something different. I'm like, the thing that people are most vulnerable is being manipulated. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you put a person in that environment with all these with a lot of criminals and convicts, they're susceptible to the manipulation game. And if we're going to prepare them for anything, we need to prepare them for that. And so, what I was trying to do was to write something to where we could show the manipulation game and show what it looks like. Because that third book, that's what it's going to be. You get to see Shay manipulate her way out of prison, and she's going to do that through the guards, through the warden, through everybody. But in order to get to that story, we had to tell these other stories. And so, I think that's a big part of it. I think she's the main culprit because ultimately she's just has the ability to understand what motivates people and how to use that to get what she wants. And the back of the book, we put a quote. It had something to do with about secrets. Secrets are like shanks, and you use them as a weapon against your enemies. And so I think that's kind of what she's doing. And to me, she's the biggest culprit.
I don't. I think that I, and I know y'all wrote the book. I get it. I get it. I get it. But in my mind's eye, I feel like it was the uncle.
He, I would put him as. He's definitely one of them. He's a key player. He's pulling strings, definitely behind the scenes.
Yeah, he's creating the monster.
Yeah, yeah. He's a string puller.
And he knows that she has this way.
Yeah,
And he's
I
using
think
it to the best of his.
because he introduced her to all of that when she was just a child, but she kind of
She took it and ran with it.
she took it and ran with
Y'all are crazy. So
it.
let's shift a little bit. Let's talk about your publisher,
Hmm.
Martina J.
I would say she's a genius.
Okay.
A lot of things that I think I speak for both of me and him. We don't see it. We don't see it. She's been in this game a long time. We don't see it. We're like, what is she doing? What is she doing? Why is she doing this? And then all of a sudden you see the outcome. You're like, oh, let me shut up. You know, I think we talk about that a lot. You know, she's a genius.
Yeah, we needed some a mentorship. We needed someone to kind of guide us. You know, we kind of walked into independent writing and being a publisher and author. We kind of walked into that blind, not really knowing. And she has so much experience and a lot of, like he's saying, a lot of things that she tells us. We like no, but then when we see the end result, and we're like, wow, okay. So she, and I guess, and she told us in the beginning, she said it's difficult working with men. She's like, y'all think y'all know everything. and so we needed a personality like that that could deal with our personality and kind of put us in our place when it was needed so that we could. And I made it, I made it a point that I was like, I don't want to be the difficult guy to work with. So, I tried hard and I still am working on trying to be a good follower, and trying to adapt, being willing to mold, and change and it ain't necessarily been easy, but we're learning.
Now, a lot of times he pulled my coattail, and because I'm throwing a fit, and I'm like, well, this, that, and the other, and this, that, and the third. And he like, just calm down, just give her what she want, just give her what she want. And I'm like, well, okay, so,
So
but
y'all
yeah,
acting like toddlers, and she
yeah,
the mama.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'm
exactly,
dead.
exactly. Like she whooped our butts, and we in the room scheming, and he just telling me to calm down, just give her what she wants, and it pays. The end results have been a blessing.
Well, I'm sure we could have found people that would just let us do whatever, or we could have continued just him and I. But we wanted somebody to be able to help us to grow, and that takes being challenged. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? If you're gonna take a bush and you want that bush to be beautiful, you're gonna have to prune it. You know what I mean? And so we needed to be pruned. We needed those times where
Hmm.
things were happening that was going to stimulate our growth. So I'm glad that Micah found her, and she has been a godsend for us.
Good. I love it. I love it. So, what is the most important lesson that she's taught you both?
Be flexible, to compromise, to see it through other people's eyes. Don't always. my way may not be wrong, but there may be a better way to do something. And just because we think of a great way to do something, don't mean it's the best way to do it.
Right.
Yeah, flexibility. I think that's the biggest thing that she's taught us.
Okay. All right. All right. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love when strong relationships work. I know you probably thought, I love when a strong black woman take charge, but no. I love when strong relationships work, whether it be in relation in the relationship, the
Yeah,
that type of relationship, and then business.
yeah,
I love when I see people that can work together and they take direction. They don't always have to be the chief. They can be the worker. I'm not going to say the other word because I think that's derogatory. But it's
yeah.
I love to see that, and I give both of y'all kudos for that. What have you learned? What's the biggest lessons that you've learned from one another?
I think it's gonna sound weird, but I learned how to collaborate from Micah, and I know, yeah, we that's how we've been doing is collaborating. But there's like times, like I think one of the first times that I really understood it was an important lesson to learn is we didn't always know how we were going to write, and so sometimes I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna write a chapter, you write a chapter. We had no outline, and then I would write something, he write something. Well, he wrote something that was like in far left field, and I was like, oh man. but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna follow it, and I followed it, and then I saw something in myself as a writer. I had to do something in order to make the story continue, to have continuity with the story, and it made me better. And I was like, wow. Sometimes you can't just try to be so controlling of what someone else is doing. You got to learn how to realize that you can only control you, and so try to be your best version of yourself. Despite what someone else is doing. And so, some of his story decisions or his decisions for the characters may not have been the decision that I made, but that's okay. You know what I mean? Sometimes it challenges you and brings out the best in you. So that's what I learned, how to collaborate.
I
Okay.
think the thing that I've learned is I think this has been from day one is he's so meticulous about certain things that I have become that way when it comes to, especially doing research on things like, for instance, in Prison Bay, I went deep into the religious aspects of Santeria. I mean, I went to the islands. I was searching islands and locations and just to get stuff right because you don't want to write something. And he's told me this several times. You don't want to write something somebody can go back and challenge them and be like, "Nah, that ain't where that happened," or "They don't do that there." So we want to make sure everything falls in line with what we're writing. We'll look up an area or a region and find out and make sure it matches. Like I think in one of the Police King stories, matter of fact, it was Valentine King. We went to the day of that date to see what the weather was like, to make sure the weather matched on the day. That's how how meticulous we were when we wrote Valentine. When we write, period, we just made sure the weather matched up with the day because we put that day in there, so nobody could come back and say, "Hey, it wasn't snowing on that day." Yes, it was. It was 9 degrees on that day.
Okay. Okay. I like it. I like it. I like it. Um, I have a legitimate question.
Mm-hmm.
Don't shoot me. I'm just asking a question. Do you guys have issues with the church? Because y'all be writing some shit. Y'all be writing some shit about the church.
No,
Why?
I love the church. I love the black church. I grew up in the church. At one point, I was a licensed minister. I've traveled to Europe to do mission work. I've always been very involved in church. When I wrote plays for church. I've starred in plays about a bishop. So, we love the church, but I love law enforcement too. But I'm always going to be critical of the things that I love. You know what I'm saying? I'm always going to try to point out areas where those entities that I believe in, where I see flaw and I see that they need to grow. And we're always going to do that. That doesn't mean that we don't love. You know what I mean? But that I think we're comfortable being critical because we know intimately the institution. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we've been to church, and they what was it? Bishop. Well, I'm not gonna call his name out, but Bishop locked the door. A bishop locked the door and said, "I need a certain amount of money." You know what I mean? Like that's not unlawful restraint in the state of Texas. But the reality is we've seen those things, and we're gonna be critical of them. I wrote a story, the Cash App preacher, and it was very critical of evangelists and preachers of that type that is constantly looking for donations, but then how are they appropriating that money? But anyway, the guy ends up going to jail. But that was from a personal story. That was something that I actually experienced with somebody. And so that was actually therapy for me to write the story and be able to kind of get it out, but that's what it is. We love the church.
Yeah, like the bit I say it a million times. I wrote the bishop, and I'm not bashing anybody. What I'm doing is I want people to realize and open their eyes and make sure they're not worshiping a figure, a public figure who's a human being who has flaws, who's fight demons every day, who has issues, who struggles, who puts on their pants legs just like you. Just because they have a title doesn't mean they're not human.
Right.
I think we, especially in the black community, we get to the point where we almost worship these leaders, and we're worshiping the wrong thing. We should be worshiping God, not the leaders, not the person with the title, not that we shouldn't give them reverence, but don't put them on a pedestal like they can't,
Like they're Jesus, because they're not Jesus.
Exactly.
They're not. Uh, I agree with that. I was just curious because y'all write a lot about the church, and I was like, wait a minute, we got some issues with the church.
No.
Just curious, just asking. Do you guys consider yourselves what I consider messy writers, or even a little contentious?
Now I do. I didn't think I was at first, but now I kind of embrace it. People, I get on. People like he the king of messy. I'm like, okay, I took it. I wear that crown if you want me to wear that crown. That's the crown.
It is what it is, right?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I'm not a messy writer. I'm not a messy writer. I'll say I want to write something that elicits an emotion, and whether if I wrote something that was horror and it made you fearful or scary, it's eliciting emotion. So unfortunately, the emotions that we're eliciting usually come from some form of conflict, or something that what you may label as messy, but it's the intent is to elicit emotion and make you feel a certain kind of way, and our hope is that based on that feeling, you'll continue reading, you'll enjoy yourself, you'll walk away and you'll remember things. That feeling that you feel will cause you to remember that book, and that's what we're trying to do.
Okay. I like the answer. How do you guys separate your joint projects and your individual projects?
There's really not a lot of separation. When Micah was writing the bishop, every chapter he's like, "Hey, read this," and I'll be like, "Okay, this is what I think. This is what I think." You know what I mean? And same with mine. Like we constantly feed each other ideas and work together. It doesn't have to be my project. You know what I'm saying? That's my brother. So if he's doing something, then of course, if he needs me, if he wants my input, he's going to get it, and I'm gonna help him as much as I can, and vice versa. You know what I mean? So the only thing that separate is that when he's writing something and it's just a Michael Rain project, he's in the lead. He's behind the steering wheel. Whether he chooses to have me in the passenger seat, he got me. I will be in the passenger seat with him if he needs me to. But if he doesn't, then he's driving the car. And I think that's kind of what makes it different.
Okay. How do you guys resolve disagreements? Like if you feel a project should go one way and the other person thinks the project should go another way. How do you guys resolve those disagreements?
I don't think that's ever happened. Uh, I think we were quick to compromise. There's if he pitches something and I have to be honest with myself. If I think his idea may be work better, or or is a better idea, hey, let's go with what you roll with, and let's see what happens. We don't play tug of war, or anything like that. I don't think there's ever been an instance where we're ever bumped heads about an idea or fought over an idea or anything like that.
Okay,
Yeah, I agree with him, and I definitely think it's important that, like, if he pitches an idea, my first response shouldn't be something negative. Like, if he's pitching an idea, I ought to be, how do we make this work, even if I don't see how it's going to work.
Yeah.
And I
right.
think your approach has to be a collaborative approach. And then I don't think we've ever faced anything like that. The worst case scenario, if I approach something and it just can't work, and he lets me know, hey, this can't work, then I got to be willing to say, okay, that's not going to work. Let's try something different. Let's figure some way else out to complete our story or to navigate through the tale that we're trying to tell.
Right. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. I wish other authors will listen to this.
But the like I said, I hate aging us, but I've known him for almost 45 years. So we all that bump ahead, we did that when we were little. So that's out the way. That's been this. We're not. Even though we're males and I think we're both alpha, I think we know how to manage.
Right.
Now you see
The
two
thing,
lines.
the key thing is that you guys are great at listening to the other's ideas without judgment.
Yes.
I think that's sometimes the disconnect between collaborators is that someone always want to be in charge of everything, and their direction may not be what is needed.
Hmm.
I feel like you guys have an even balance.
Yeah.
But I would love for other collaborators, other authors that collaborate with others to take that same approach sometimes, because you can tell when someone's trying to take the lead and it don't fare well. Now I understand if it's your project and you're asking someone to collaborate with you and there's a particular direction in which that person is trying to go, but sometimes it just leads into a lot of contentious behavior.
Hmm.
And I love to see how you guys work well with one another, and that's what I would want for all authors that collaborate with other authors.
I don't think. I don't know. I can't speak for him, but I don't think I could do this with anybody else.
I think he
I'm just.
can. He can.
I don't know. I mean, I might be able to write a book with somebody else, but to do it on a regular basis with somebody,
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
But that's
I,
the difference.
Right, right. And I think that I agree with him there. Like, I would love to write with other authors, but no, I don't want to write with anybody on a regular basis the way I do with him. Like, part of it is we just enjoy each other's company. Like, we don't even have to be writing, and we're gonna hang out. Even with me being in another state, we still spend a lot of time talking about things outside of writing because that's just the relationship that we have.
I love it. I love that.
I think we feed off each other because
But y'all
writing.
know each other. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I think the difference, is because
Hmm.
of your long-standing relationship as friends. Y'all know how the other would react to certain things.
Hmm.
Am
And
I correct?
absolutely, absolutely. And like I said, I think we feed off each other because if I write a chapter and it's up here, he's gonna take it up another notch. So I'm like, oh damn! After I read his chapter, I'm like, well, here I go. I gotta bring it even more. So I think that's where the intensity comes from, uh, the stories, because it's always that push. I know I can't let him down, and I think he feels the same way.
Do you feel like it's healthy competition?
I don't
No,
think it's
it's not
competition.
competition because I'm not competing. I'm not competing with my best friend. If anything, I'm trying to lift him up. I'm trying to elevate him, and he's trying to do the same for me. We're just trying to make each other better. It's not necessarily about us being better than the other person. I want him to win. He want me to win.
No, I'm pushing him, and he's pushing me. And I think that's I think that's where it comes into play.
Because we're always teammates. We always on the same team.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Exactly. I love that though. I love the to see two males in a field full of females because let's face it, this space is a lot of female authors.
Mhm.
And to shine the way that you guys are starting to shine through, I love to see it. And I love to see that y'all doing it together.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that because when I first started reaching out to publishers, it was a publisher's. I think I remember her name. I ain't gonna say no names, but I reached out to her. She loved the story, and she was like, "Are you male or female?" And I was like, "We're male." And she's like, "Oh, I don't work with male authors." And I was like, "Okay, well, that's fine. That's cool too."
Did you feel like some female publishers might be a little intimidated because they may not be equipped to handle an alpha male?
It may be that may be part of it because I can see where a man how bullheaded we are. A lot of us are. We want it our way, and you know, we. I understand.
Yeah, but we even susceptible to that. There's been times when we're like, man, they don't know what they're talking about, and we have to take a step back and be like, okay, maybe we don't know what we're talking about.
Exactly.
And everyone is not capable. Every man is not capable of that type of introspective and holding themselves accountable. You know what I mean? And being willing to listen to other people's perspectives. Everybody's not capable of that. So I can kind of see. I wouldn't say maybe intimidated, but maybe they just are not patient to deal with.
Yeah.
What we may bring to the table from time to time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Um, which characters do you guys best identify with?
So I'll say for sure we're going to re-release Police King and the detective Thaddeus King from Police King. We wrote the story and a lot of it takes place like during the time of George Floyd protests, and so one thing that I thought was important to put in with that character is that he was a black law enforcement officer, and he struggled with wanting to protect his people and wanting to be a symbol of justice for his people. But then also in that moment when the George Floyd protests were happening, he was being ostracized and criticized by his people. And that duality and that conflict, from that perspective, I felt most like him. And also on his job, predominantly the leaders of his organization didn't look like him, and he was scrutinized and criticized by them. So it's just a difficult place to kind of be in when you don't really fit, and you're trying to represent everybody, and you're trying to stand for what's right, and nobody seems to understand. But you got to keep following what's in your heart. You got to keep following your moral compass.
What
And
about you, Michael?
I'll piggyback on the same thing. Out of every book that we've written, to me, that's my favorite story. That's my favorite character. Um, Not because of him being a great detective, because that's one thing I think that was important for us to do was to make him be a exceptional detective, but he has flaws. He's
Mm-hmm.
a horrible boyfriend. He was a horrible husband when he was married. He has a horrible relationship with his adult children. So I wanted people to not only see that okay, he can be great at one thing, but he has flaws. You know, everybody may create these heroes without flaws, but most heroes have flaws, and I wanted him to be relatable to not just to men, but for women to see that this is why some of the men they meet are the way they are, or you know, to give a better understanding to a police officer when you meet a police officer, or see what sometimes what we struggle with, because a lot of times in law enforcement, you make a lot of sacrifices, especially with your children and family, because of time. Because uh, you're on call 24 hours, 7 days a week. You're no matter what. If I'm sitting in a grocery store and the grocery store get robbed, guess who I am? I'm an officer. I have to act. So that clock doesn't stop just because I'm not getting paid. You know.
Okay, I got that. My brother was a police officer,
Hmm.
and I feel like before he was unalive, I feel like I missed the opportunity to see him in action because I'm very proud of the choice that he was. He was a Marine, and then he was a police officer,
Hmm.
and I wish I was able to see him in action, but because I was in school, I was in college when he had his short stint as a police officer. But even though he was an officer, he was in a different city.
Hmm.
So he was actually in Oakland, but he served in a different city.
Yeah.
And when before he was unalive, he was then a police officer, even though he was in a different jurisdiction.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, um, a fight ensued,
Hmm.
and he lost his life by his own gun, his own
Hmm.
pistol, pew pew.
Hmm.
And he passed on for that, which was 10 days before I graduated college. So I didn't see any of it. So my brother, um, and I don't even know why I'm telling y'all this, but it's here now. My brother became law enforcement when I joined, when I got to school, and then he was unalive right before I
Okay.
graduated. And I'm sad because I really wanted to see him in action. I never got a chance to see him in his uniform
Hmm.
outside of pictures.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
And,
get the whole 24/7 thing,
hmm.
because based on what my parents tell me, anytime he was somewhere, because he was still in the same county, he was still considered an officer, and something happened, they had close relationships. So if he saw something and was there, he was there to react and make sure
Hmm.
that the proper people were called or whatever. But in this particular instance, he was just hanging out with his friends, and something happened.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah. And
I don't
that's
mean to, ooh, don't make, listen. I know I make people cry,
but
but I ain't trying to be crying now. Come on now.
that's the fact of being an officer, because the things that a lot of people do and may get a slap on the wrist for, I could lose my whole career behind.
Yes.
I go have a drink and I take off driving down the street. I get pulled over, my whole career's gone down the drain. Or I have a fight with my wife, or and my career may end because I pushed her. Where versus the average man, he gonna go to work the next day, or whether he go to jail or not. He gonna call his boss. His boss may bail him out. He go back to work the next day. So a lot of vices that we gave Thaddeus King and Police King were alcohol and sex. Those are two of the few things that you really can't get in trouble for in law enforcement unless you abuse them. But other than that, that's why I felt it was, that for him to have those flaws, because it was realistic. Those are two things that a lot of law officers struggle with.
Oh, shit, it's hot in here. Sorry.
Hmm.
um. Okay. Let's change the title a little bit. Out of all
Okay.
your female characters, who you? I know you're married, so tell you why this has been fun. Just asking. If you don't want to answer, you can decline. Who you smashing? Who you marrying? Who you unaliving?
Go ahead, Micah.
Out of all the characters who I'm marrying, probably marrying Stephanie from He Keeps Running Back.
Okay.
He was a high school sweetheart. She was his day one. Uh, yeah, that would be who else you said marrying? Who else? What else?
Smashing and who you unaliving.
Unaliving?
Mm-hmm.
Unaliving. I'm unaliving the bishop's first. Cause she just nutty as a fruitcake.
Ashley.
And smashing would probably be Sonya from Police King.
Okay. Okay. You declining.
No, I'm not declining. I'm not declining. I wanted to hear what he was going to answer. Plus, I needed some time to think.
Tell your wife. I'm an ally. I'm just asking the questions the people know.
I don't think I've written the character that I'm going to marry, and I say that because at some point I'm going to write a character and I'm going to base it on my wife. All right, so I hadn't written that character yet, but who am I smashing? It's probably going to be from the running back, which we're going to retitle. Tina J is going to help us retitle that one. But you said Stephanie. You said Stephanie. You would marry Mikah.
Yeah.
I say I'd smash Tina.
Okay. Yeah.
And then
That was
unaliving.
close. That one was close for me. That one was close for me.
Yeah. Unaliving would probably be from the Secrets of a Prison Bay, Trisha, that character. And I don't want to give anything away, but that could happen. But
Listen, sir. Listen, you got these fans and carrying on. Really? Okay. I will wait to see.
Wait till Prison Bay 2, though.
I'm not playing with you. You're
That
not
one-
getting ready to bait me into.
That was a heartbreaker. 'Cause even he said, I think he said the other day we were talking about it. He was just like, she just went through so much. The main character in that book, she couldn't catch a break. It was like, I mean, she fell down a flight of stairs and she just kept falling and kept falling and kept falling and kept falling.
The main character is not going to be Shay.
Not in that book, no.
Can I
it's
ask?
about three. It's about three women, so every book has a different woman who is the main character.
So is it going to be by one of her daughters?
That is actually, believe it or not, that's Police King, but
That's
we
Police
won't
King.
go there. we won't go there.
That's
Yeah.
okay. I don't even want to know. Go keep
Get
going.
ready. Get
I done
ready.
got bad. Look, I done got
Get
bad.
ready.
What's your other stance? Okay, let's talk about male authors.
Mhm.
How do you encourage male authors who want to write? Males who want to write to become authors.
That's tough because I think people have a misconception about what it means to be an author, and I try to encourage people, but you can only get them so far, and then they're just unwilling to commit to putting stuff down on paper. I had a guy that I knew, and he was such a brilliant storyteller. He came up with these amazing, cool concepts, but you can just never get him to commit to just writing something down on paper. And I told him I'd help him. There's tons of programs that will help you with editing. You can, contract the editor. There's so many different things that you can do, but it's tough with guys. I don't really know what is the secret to get a guy that has the ability, and they just need to take one step, and they'll be at least on the path to becoming a good author. But I don't know, Michael, what you got?
I agree with you 100%. I think a lot of men are intimidated because this is a female-dominated profession, and I believe they feel like they won't be embraced, and that's the furthest thing from the truth for us. I think from day one, uh, it started with Storm. I'm gonna give her all the flowers in the world. If it wasn't for Storm, I don't think I would still be writing. I reached out to her. Out of the blue, I just said I was watching her do book reviews, and she had just started, and I was like, man, I love the way she because she was brutally honest and she was herself, and the way she did her book review. And I told him, I'm saying, I'm gonna see if she'll do a book review of He Keeps Running Back, and she did, and uh, she embraced us from day one. And everybody in that whole clique, from her, Shannon, you, Tolly, Coco, all of y'all, man. I mean, it's been nothing but love, and I appreciate each and every one of y'all. You know,
Okay. I like it. I like that answer. I like that answer. I'm glad that I think I think with Storm, and I think I'm gonna speak for her, for Shannon and myself, Kylie, and everybody else in our circle. The goal is not to uh, push anybody out of the circle. The goal is to embrace everybody. The goal is to give everybody a chance. The goal is to be honest. The goal is to create that foundation. I think that's something that Storm does well, is create a foundation so that we can create on top of it. And with her reviews, with her knowledge of books, she's done that very well.
yeah,
Um, like you, she didn't have to accept me into the fold. Not that I was looking for anything, but I just mentioned to her, I'm interested in podcasting. She was like, well, the more the merrier. Come in. I think that sometimes and we've been talking about this all week, is how everything is so clicky. I don't think that we're trying to create a community that's clicky. We're trying to create a community so everybody who wants to join can flourish.
mm-hmm.
And that was the goal. I want to see more men. I want to see more women. I want to see children's authors. I want to see everybody come in this community and just take off. And if we can help you do that by reading your work and doing reviews and sharing how we truly feel about it, because I truly feel like you guys got something.
Thank you. Thank
You know
you.
what I'm saying? I truly feel like you guys are masters in your own right. Um, and we can share that with the world, because I feel like the world needs to see.
I think you're hitting the nail on the head, because I think that's where us as a culture we struggle. We don't want anybody to do better than us, and we're I'm not gonna tell him, I'm not gonna tell her, because I don't want her or him to do better than me. I want them to be either equal with me or below me. And it shouldn't be that way. I don't care if I have 100,000 followers or 10,000 followers or 1,000. As long as I got who I have and that's my group and I'm in my lane, I'm happy. And that's all that matters to me. I didn't think I would do as well as I've done. Especially with the solo thing, because I was extremely skeptical about putting that Secrets of a Bishop, being their bishop out, because that was my first solo project. I was used to having him, Earnest by my side, and it was like, this is something Tina wanted, and I was just like, I was very skeptical, but it turned out for the best.
I'm just gonna take 3% in. I was wanting to wring your neck. That's it. 3% in. I want to wring your neck.
I know.
But I, I just I feel like in this caveats into my next question, in the climate in which we're living, we have a dictator who wants to be a king. We have people that don't agree with us because of the color of our skin. They try and group us and make us one thing. We're all in this box, and in honesty, we're not. We are everywhere.
Hmm.
We have so many contributions to give that we've given and still have yet to give. Are you worried about the Black literary space and your choice to be authors?
No, I'm not. I'm not worried. I, I know that there's going to be a push to censorship of certain things, specific things. You know what I mean? When you look at critical race theory, we get to a place to where now government doesn't want us talking about the past in a certain way. But I'm going to continue to be me. I'm going to continue to speak my mind. I know some of the things in the way that I see the world, it may not be popular, but I'm still going to write my stories and tell my stories in the way that I believe they should be told. Um, and I'm not necessarily doing this as a career. I'm doing it as a passion. I'm doing it because I feel I want to be an artist, and I want to be able to put something out into the world that's going to elicit an emotion or make people think differently. And that's the objective I'm trying to achieve. You can censor me, you can cut me off. It is what it is. I more than anything, I enjoy writing with Michael Rain, and this is kind of how we continue to build our bond that we've had since we were in elementary school. We used to play with He-Mans and Transformers and G.I. Joes, and we create worlds and we tell stories, and we're still doing that now. So whether politics is not necessarily going to dictate what we do, and that works both ways, because maybe someone gets in office who does see things the way that we see them. That doesn't change what we do. You know what I mean?
You know, I'm always leery of uh, the leaders that be trying to. I'm trying to use my words carefully because I know my mouth is a little sharp. Um, Trying to take away our rights to have free speech, our rights to um, be just being an individual here in this United States, while they're taking away U.S. citizens and not caring because they're judging by the color of their skin. I feel like they're coming after literary spaces and trying to censor the spicier scenes, um, historical scenes. Um, they don't want our truth, which hurts them. And I'm struggling to get my words out because what I want to say is F these motherfuckers, but I can't say that. That's what I want to say. Um, but I also feel like you guys who have published works and you continually do the work, that I am in awe of you guys. Um, I know that bad press can harm your careers, your career choices, your daily lives. I just want to say thank you. I just want to give you guys your flowers now, because without the male voices in this space, it would be boring. It would be uh, we won't get the education that we get from you as we do from women. Yeah, of course, we know what the perfect man looks like for us, but sometimes we need that dose of reality from that other side to be like, okay, well, let me think about this differently.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I give you guys your flowers. Um, I give you guys your just due, because you guys are really putting in the work, and I couldn't be more proud of you. Like, I know y'all not my kids, but I am. That's how I feel. I feel like somebody's mama, which I am somebody's mama, but I feel like I'm I'm giving voice to where we should be. And thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for taking
And
the
I know
time
that
out.
was a roundabout way, but I was trying to choose my words carefully.
I mean, I appreciate you taking the time out just to read Secrets of a Prison Break, just to give us some feedback. Uh, because Coco, you out there, I see you. I appreciate both of y'all for taking the time out to out of your schedule, out of your time and your day to do that for us. So we can get that feedback. So we'll know that it's up to par with everything that we've been doing so far.
Well, I'm just gonna tell the people, y'all gonna be angry at everybody. Y'all gonna be angry at everybody. This is not your normal run of the mill type of book. This is different. And this child, if you're looking for romance, this ain't the book.
No, there's no romance in this one.
This is not that book. Now, I'm not saying things don't happen in the book, but I'm just saying it's not your typical romance book. So if that's what you're looking for, this ain't the book for you.
She said not at all.
No.
Not at all.
But if you're looking for a good suspenseful read, if you're trying to expand your palette, this book is for you. It is what it is.
Now,
So
the second book, I wouldn't even say it got romance in it because there's just so much disappointment in it.
don't tell me because I'm probably gonna come to Texas and just wring your neck.
Yeah, that second book it might have some tears because I feel sorry for the girl in the second book. Because it not only deals with heartache and disappointment, it deals with mental illness. We touch mental illness. We touch sexual assault. We touch a lot in the second book. So
I have a question. I do have a question. How do you decide what subjects you're going to embark on? Do you be like, okay, so I want to touch on mental illness, so this character has to have this, or do you just let your characters write the story and it just happens to be whatever it is?
I think that one just kind of happened, don't you?
Well, yeah, I mean, so we're both very different. I mean, me and Micah, we're the same, but we're different. And I'm more like I have to say, okay, I want to write about this. Like I said, the manipulation. I knew that was something I wanted to write about. But then the second book is more Micah Rain, and he just kind of took it to a place of mental illness. I loved it. It's not what we were necessarily looking for, but I mean, it is a beautiful story, in my opinion, about a person's path from mental health to mental illness and how that impacted the person that they became within the prison. But it wasn't planned. So, I mean, I guess we do both. I have to plan. I have to be very meticulous, and he does not. He's just creative.
Is it hard to write from a female point of view?
No, I was raised by a black woman, and I didn't have a father in my life, so I guess maybe I kind of understand that perspective a lot growing up the way that I did. So it's not difficult for me, but then sometimes it is, and sometimes I read things to my wife to get insight, and she tells me, "You don't understand the female perspective." So, but it is good to have people in your corner that kind of help you to see things from a perspective that maybe you overlooked. But no, I mean, it's definitely not. It's not difficult.
Mike, are you?
No. I think almost the same. My father was in and out of my life, so we never really had a strong relationship. My relationship with my mother was the strongest, and I think just being who we are, and being transparent as we are, and I think his relationship with his wife really helps because anything I think she reads just about anything that I give him to read or whatever, or whether it's something we do duo or solo, she reads it and she gives him feedback. So I think that helps both of us in that perspective. But I think just my knowledge of being surrounded by so many beautiful women, black women that helped raise us and being a part of our lives just gave us so much insight into, a lot of different things that a lot of men don't, you know.
Okay, we're gonna kind of get to some of the questions about you guys individually. I probably picked your brain enough. Um, do you guys have certain music that you listen to when you're preparing to write, or do you have to write in silence?
Nah, I love to have music when I write, and then usually those themes end up, and what I usually try to do is have a different song for each chapter, and those songs, the themes within that song, I try to pick carefully, so because I know it's going to influence me, and I actually like that. I actually like to have. Um, I guess to try to find and feel and understand where the songwriter or the rapper or the musician where they were, and then try to feel and then put that same feeling into what I'm crafting on paper.
The
Okay.
same with me. I can write without music, but I prefer to have music because it takes me into a different zone. And like he says, a lot of times, that theme of that song will end up in the theme of my music. I mean, in the theme of my chapter. So I love to have music when I'm writing.
Okay. Um, I had a question and it just went somewhere else. Um, what is the proudest moment of your author journey?
I say the proudest moment of my author journey is the first time I saw Micah post a review of his Bishop book. Man, I was like, I thought that was just the coolest thing in the world. I was like, somebody liked his book so much that they recorded themselves reviewing the book. I just thought that was the coolest thing in the world.
I love that. What about you, Micah?
I think the proudest moment for me was actually when holding. I think I was at his house and I holding the first copy of He Keeps Running Back in My Head. That's when it kind of just I felt different, just holding that book and seeing our names on that book and being officially a published author. You know.
I love that. I love that. I love that. Um, do either of you want to ever become traditionally published?
Uh,
I don't know. I mean, I can't. I'm happy. I think the more books we write, the happier we're going to be. I don't know that we necessarily need that validation, but I'm not necessarily opposed to it. I know that that may create a bigger platform for more readers to be exposed to what we do. But I don't think I have to necessarily have that.
it would be great, but I think the bigger you become, or the bigger publishers that you have, the more handcuffs you get along with that, with your say on what the cover is and what you put in the book and what restrictions are required. And so, is it really your book at the end of the day? Uh, that's 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 my fear in that. So I'm happy where we are. I'm happy with Tina. I just want to just keep putting these books out. Now, I would love to see some plays or some movies or something like that. But I'm not too big on the traditionally published.
Out of your catalog, what which book would you like to see go to film first? Film, I mean TV or film?
Police. That's it's not even close. Police for me.
I think I'd like to see the Prison Bay series, um, like some type of streaming. Eight to 10 episodes, and we could cover all three of the books in the trilogy in those episodes.
Hmm. I see that. I see
Now,
that.
now
I'd
the
like to
bishop
see
I can
all
see
of
as a
them.
play.
I
Now the
would like to
bishop.
see the bishop in a movie because God damn it, that bishop is crazy. I would like to
I
see the bishop. I
I can
want
see
to
it as a
see
play.
Grace.
I don't know about a movie. I could see it as a play. I don't know about a movie.
I want Brand. He cannot be a prey. I need to. Listen, chat. Who can play Brand? Just put it out there because I need to see that on the screen. On HBO After Dark.
I'm sure there's some young Texas stud that can play Brand somewhere.
This is the laugh for me, sir. I don't know, but if y'all could just tell me who could play Brand and who could play Mary O Crazy Ask. I need to know who can play these characters because I don't know. What would people be shocked to know about you guys?
I'm a grandfather. I am a grandfather. My granddaughter is a year and a half. Is that shocking?
No. I'm a grandmother, so that's not shocking.
Okay.
And she's 13.
Wow. I wouldn't have believed that one. Wouldn't have guessed that.
13. My oldest is turning 40 in October, and my youngest just turned 30.
Okay.
And look, my little bun is turning 13. She's coming up on 13.
Wow. Yeah, for me, like normally, it's when I tell people that I'm a independent author. That's usually what's shocking to people. You know, people don't expect that from me.
Why? Because you're an officer?
Yeah.
But what would your readers be shocked to know? Because they don't care about that. They know you're an officer.
I know. I don't know. I don't know if I have anything shocking. I hunt. I'm an avid hunter. I love to kill Bambi. Unalive Bambi, is that more appropriate?
Yes, I'm alive.
I love to unalive Bambi.
Okay.
And in Arkansas, the season is much longer than Texas. It starts in October to like February. Like it's awesome. I like bows. I like modern guns. I like
Pew pews.
black powder. Anything. I'm just trying to do it. And I like to fish too. So.
Okay. What about you, Micah?
I don't have anything shocking. The only thing shocking that people find shocking about me, I don't like watermelon.
You don't like what?
Watermelon. They be ready to take my black card. Oh yeah. There it is. We love to cook.
I knew that.
Our passion for cooking is probably just as strong as for
I
writing.
never got my barbecue when I came to Texas, so that remains to be out there because I haven't had it.
But yeah, I think we have. If we weren't writing, we'd probably be trying to open up a restaurant.
Now that's shocking. I think that's shocking. Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. His wife has told us several times, y'all need to open a restaurant. Y'all need to be cooking some,
So, are you guys just good with the meat, or are you good with the sides too?
Just everything. You just can't be good just with the meat now.
Because some people think they good with the sides. Some sides be horrible.
No.
Okay. Let me know when y'all decide to make that move, because I'm coming. I don't mind hopping on a plane. Who's on your playlist when you guys are writing? What kind of artists are on your playlist?
I'm a big Erykah Badu, Killer Mike. I love people from the South. I love R&B. Of course, I like gospel. I love Kirk Franklin. I just like people from the South, and I just like rich music that elicits some type of emotion, makes me feel a certain kind of way. I'm comfortable. Like I love Killer Mike, and he's got a song, "Motherless," and that song he talks about his mother died, his grandmother died, and that song just makes me cry like a baby, because my mother passed away. But I mean, that's what I like. I like to listen to something and it makes you feel something that you just can't. It's undeniable, and that's what I like to write to. Those type of songs, and a lot of times that emotion. At least I'm hoping that it somehow translate into what I'm writing.
Okay, Micah.
I'm usually got August Alsina. Summer Walker, SZA, uh, one of the three, Janae Aiko. So one of those four are gonna be playing while I'm writing. So
Okay. All right. Describe yourself in one word.
unpredictable.
Yes. What about you, Ernest?
I mean, because
Go ahead.
I was because you never know what we're gonna write. I think that goes with both. You never know what we're gonna write. What we're gonna write about.
They done gave you a whole restaurant called Cowboy Catering. Come on.
I see it. I see it. I see it coming.
Come on, sponsor. Uh, what about you, Ernest?
I say blurred, BLERD, a black nerd.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I love sci-fi. I like hunting. I like things that are just different, maybe not traditionally associated with our people, but things that I do think our people love and like, whether we will do it in, behind closed doors and we're sometimes ashamed of it. But I mean, I love nerdy things.
Okay. Okay. Um, if you guys could induct three authors into the Author Hall of Fame, who would they be?
Mm. I know for me, number one would have to be Walter Mosley.
Okay. Oh, no,
Roger.
you got your three. You got your three.
Oh, okay, so I say Walter Mosley, S.A. Cosby, and Ashley Antoinette.
Okay. All right. I like that list. Come on, man. I don't think anybody's inducted S.A. Cosby.
Oh, the boy is bad. The boy is bad.
Listen, I just found out. Stop playing. Stop playing on that man top. What about you, Micah?
Top of my list is gonna be Elin Harris. Uh, just the creativity, the just yeah. Elin Harris and my girl Jay Jones. I love Jay. That's my crush right there. For real, for real. And
Okay.
I'm gonna give Tina her props. That's boss lady. I'm gonna put her in there. So those
I,
be my three.
I like that list too because Jay Jones' mind is wild.
Yeah.
Her mind is wild. Now I can't attest to all the other stuff that I'm gonna let you. But Jay Jones' mind is wild. And Ashley Antoinette, she can evoke emotion out of you from like nobody business. I be so bad at her. I just need her to finish with Butterfly. Come on, ma'am.
Butterfly, yes.
Come on, just come on, finish with Butterfly so I can be done with this series.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
who else? Who did you Tina J? I just finished the Borelli and Santana. What is wrong with Tina J? She knows Tina. If you listen to this, we've had the conversation, ma'am. And I can't wait to go further into her catalog. Those are some good picks. Um, if you could go to dinner, and these are separate, you answer separately, with five authors, dead or alive, who would they be?
You want me to take the lead? Go ahead.
Go ahead. You got it?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I would say Nikki Giovanni, Langston Hughes, um, Malcolm X,
Mm-hmm.
Maya Angelou, and I mean at the top, I really am very fond of Walter Mosley, so I would have to throw him in there as well. I can't get enough of his writing. The Easy Rollins series,
Mm-hmm.
like it's ridiculous. I mean, I did like Devil in the Blue Dress when they did the film adaptation, but all the books that came after that, I mean, I just absolutely love that character, and I always like to write a character like Easy Rollins that is very formidable, but he always gets into a situation where he needs mouse. He
Yeah.
needs his Achilles, somebody to come into the and just wreck shop.
House was
I
that
just
one. Mm-hmm.
I like that type of character that is very formidable, but he still needs somebody else to come back him up. Um, I just love that. I just absolutely love that. So yeah, those would be my five.
My cousin, he lives in Detroit. We had a book club during the pandemic, and that was his go-to. He wanted us to read all. I was like, "Sir, we're gonna have to read something different." But that was his guy. What about you, Micah?
I'm keeping my same three. Of course, Elan, um, Jade, Tina. I'm gonna add to that. Would you, are we talking screenwriters too?
Whoever you want to put, as
Okay, I
long
gotta
as they
put
right.
Spike. I gotta put Spike Lee in there because
Okay.
just to pick his brain and Jacquel J.
Really?
Yeah, I need to pick a brain. I need to pick a brain. Just sit down and I would love to just chill with him one day. That's probably my number two crush. But Jay got that. Jay got that number one spot. She's a beast with that pen.
You pick some with Jacquel. I think we all love Jacquel because she can write. What she can write is a good romantic scene, not necessarily an erotic scene, but more so she can evoke the emotions between
Mm-hmm.
partners that I love to death. I love Alea, and Capadonna. I love their dynamic. She can create that dynamic between Capone and Eric. I love Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
I love the dynamic between Quamere and Capri. I'm looking Menace and what he call that lady Stevie Wonder. So, I love the dynamic, but
Yeah.
Ashley Antoinette does the same for me. I love the dynamic between Epic and Alani.
Mm-hmm.
I I be pissed off with that dynamic between Morgan, Amik, and what's that little boy name that gets on my nerves? I know Latoya's in here. What's your husband name, girl? What's that little boy name? Uh,
Butterfly.
yeah, Messiah.
Yeah.
I'm team Messiah. I'm team Amik. I love their dynamic and how she can evoke the emotion between her, and you can see the difference between her love for Messiah than her difference for her love with Amit. Um, I just need her to move it along. I mean, and you know what I'm saying. I need closure. So I'm nosy. I need to know how it's gonna end. I'm not gonna say I ain't nosy. I'm nosy about Prison Bay. I need to know how this gonna end
well,
because the way y'all wrote this little girl.
fortunately, we this book is the three books are pretty much done. I think the last book is where we have to finish up, but that second book is pretty much done. So the second book won't take long. You're not gonna be waiting long.
We gonna be waiting long because y'all don't release. Y'all be like we gonna not gonna get the bishop to the end. Then we not gonna get this until whenever.
This,
I
this,
need to know. I'm nosy as hell.
I think this is the problem that we created for ourselves is that we sat down over the course of what like 2 years and we just came up with these. I don't know how many ideas for books we have and still haven't even touched probably most of them. We have so many ideas in a folder in a file on a computer where we got these books and ideas and plans for these books, and it just we haven't even got to most of them. But we could stop planning writing books right now and probably write the rest of those, and they probably take a lifetime to finish those books.
I love it. I love it. Um, what are no? I'm not even gonna ask that question. Let's because I think it's we can pass that time. Um, what are your thoughts? This is my last question. What are your thoughts on book trends? Like you have the BBW era, then you have
Yeah.
the uh, sports era, and now you have the mafia and the cartel. What do you guys think about the trend and staying the course in the path that you guys are taking?
I think the trends are cool. I mean, I think if it's a trend, it's a lot of times it's because it's something that people enjoy, something that people are entertained by, and I like to see if we can fit in the lane, of the trend. But then that doesn't mean that we're only going to write in what's trendy. But we definitely want to be able to showcase our ability to adapt, to anything. And I did want to make a note. A good friend of me and Micah's put in Octavia Butler as an author. So we'd say honorable mention to Octavia Butler.
Okay, okay. Um, y'all ready to pop y'all shit?
Yeah, I'm
What
ready.
does that mean?
Okay, so what that means?
Get ready, you for the pop it,
You about to bust that cherry, sir.
man.
No. That means that you tell the people where you're gonna be, where they can find you, how many projects you anticipate on coming out this year, that type of thing. It sounds worse. I mean, it sounds worse than what it is.
You handle the projects we coming out with. I handle the places we gonna be.
All right.
The places we gonna be, we'll be in the Boozy Book Tour in October in Chicago. That'll be my birthday weekend, so let's do it big. February of 2026, we'll be in Boozy Book Tour in Las Vegas, and then I believe in April we'll be in California for Shelly P's. I forgot the name of it. What is Shelly P's name of the?
Shelly P, the Cali author takeover, the
Yeah,
Converse and Denim takeover.
yeah. So we'll be there. That's what we have planned for next year so far. We might do something later in the year. Uh, Later on that year, we haven't decided, but that's what we're going to be right now. Uh, that's all we got scheduled for right now. But we'll be looking for mostly things local. But if anything comes up between now and next year, we might we game.
Okay.
And one more thing, Tuesday I'll be here in Hot Springs Village at the Coronado Library, Friends of the Coronado. I'm doing something with the authors here inside Hot Springs Village. Just showcasing, what we got here. But as far as projects coming up, we definitely have Juneteenth. We're gonna have Secrets of a Prison Bay, the first of a trilogy. We'll be putting out the second Secrets of a Prison Bay probably in 2 months. We got the re-release of Police King coming out, and then we're going to be re-releasing He Keeps Running Back, which was our first novel, but it's going to be retitled and it's going to be under Tina J's umbrella. She's gonna redo that entire book. We have a domestic violence book that we're working on. The title is Broken Vows, and then it's going to be under the umbrella of Tina J, and she's going to have multiple authors, and so everyone will have a subtitle under Broken Vows. Our subtitle is Sapphic Toxicity Survivor. So it's going to be about two women in a toxic relationship, and one of them ends up surviving that relationship. And then we're working on a paranormal. I think our working title for that is Dirty South Curses. That's going to be October for Halloween. And then for Christmas, it's going to be Addicted to a Texas Cowboy Part 2, the Christmas story. Christmas Lover with the Cowboy. And then after that, or maybe even before that, it's going to be Secrets of a Billionaire Bishop Part 2. I know he said he's going to start working on it this summer. Initially, he was talking about releasing it towards the end of the year, but that may be pushed back, right, Micah?
Yeah, it's probably closer if at the earliest November. I could see possibly November, but it'd be book three, and then you're working on an individual project as well.
Yeah, it's a BDSM. It's called You're My Addiction. That maybe will come out towards the end of the summer. And then we got one more thing that we're working on. Now it slipped my mind, but we had one more thing that we were working on. Oh well, must not have been that. Oh, uh, did I say the third part of the Secrets of a Prison Bay should be out like in the fall.
Okay.
So we're gonna maybe put like a month or two in between those books, but we definitely want that story to come out before the year's up.
So, do y'all have anything to work on next year? Y'all be slamming this on top of the head.
Yeah, we gonna flood you with, like I've been saying, probably 5 or 6 books, or more before the end of the year. So
Okay. Okay. And where can the folks find you, good fine gentlemen?
you can find me on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. I'm not on Twitter that much. You can find me on Lemons. You can find me on YouTube. All of them the same. Author Michael Rain. Uh, you can find me.
Pretty much same for me. Author Earnest Lee. Gonna be on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Lemons. Am I on YouTube? Maybe I'm on YouTube too.
I think we on those. We might be. I haven't looked. That's how long it's been. So yeah,
We
we're
gotta
really
do
not
that.
active on there.
Yeah, we got to do better. We definitely have to do better.
All right. And any advice for any author coming into this space?
I say the only advice I can give you is to write. You know what I mean? Don't be afraid to write, and keep writing, and don't stop writing, and don't be discouraged. You know, you're gonna do things and learn, and that's the only way that you can get better is to by taking chances and to learn, and seeing where you do well, seeing where you don't do so well, and just making the adjustment. You know what I mean? But write and keep writing. That's my best advice.
Same. I got same advice. Write what you like. Write what you love. You know, it may not necessarily be the trend or what everybody else is reading. But if you write what you like, somebody's gonna like what you like. Somebody, you'll eventually find your audience. So, you know.
I like that. I love that. Anything else? Any shout outs before I pop my shit?
Uh, I mean, just shout out to everybody. Like I said, if it wasn't for Storm, you, Shannon, Tylee, the whole crew, you know, 3 in the morning, we up on TikTok shooting the shit crew. We need a name. But you know, Latoya, all y'all crazy asses. If it wasn't for y'all, I wouldn't be doing this. There's no way I could do this. You know.
Yeah, before you funny, get off and get prepared for your interview. Um, what about you, Ernest?
Yeah, same thing. I just want to thank people who have just embraced us or embraced me and just helped us along the way. Because you know, this is there's no blueprint. You know, there's no blueprint on how to do it, and having people like yourself that's willing to offer some feedback and advice, or you know, share their platform. You know, we're eternally grateful, and we thank you and Storm and everybody else, Tina J, all the people that have kind of opened the door and the pathway for us to be able to be creative and tell our stories. And thank you, readers, everybody who's read anything that has Ernest Lee on there or Michael Rain. We thank you so much, and we're so grateful that you'll be willing to take time out of your life to take a chance on a story that we wrote.
Absolutely.
Well, let me pop my shit a little bit. So, first, directly after this interview, at 6:30 Central Standard Time, right? Right, Latoya, Storm. Storm will be doing an interview with Latoya Nicole. It's going to be a time. She has in her body of work. She has some masterpieces, and I think that people need to take a look because when I tell you she gonna have you sliding down that damn door that's behind me and laughing, crying, She is another author that can evoke emotion out of people, and um, it's it's always a time in her book. So make sure that y'all stay on y'all join their live after this live. As far as me, y'all know I have a PR company. I was up to the wee hours in the morning working on my logo for my PR company. It's a Booked and Busy consulting and media company. I think that encompasses everything that I want to do in this literary space. Right now I'm providing assistance with art teams, street teams, and marketing plans. So I will be creating. I can create a marketing plan for you. It will be a written plan. We can discuss. We can consult, determine what your needs are, so that I can make sure that I can ensure that that's included in this marketing plan. Um, you guys can follow me on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Substack, Blue Sky, all under Booked and Busy, was shown right here. Um, I have an event that's coming up next year. It's called the Napa and Book and Wine Tour. It's a 3-day event. Friday night, Friday day will be a tour of Oakland, San Francisco for those that want to come and visit the Bay Area and do it safely. Because right now, we living in the middle of Beirut with the political climate that is going on. Um, we will offer tours of Oakland, San Francisco. We will be visiting the oldest Black-owned bookstore in the country, which is Marcus Bookstore. And you guys can take pictures and talk. I'm sure the owner will be available for you guys to talk to her. On Friday night, we'll be having a tennis shoe ball. All of these events are tentative. They are subject to change based on time. So this is my idea of what's going on right now. Saturday, we'll be doing the countryside of Napa. We will be visiting 3 to 5 wineries, um, taking tours, the tastings, and such. Transportation will be provided. Um, on Saturday night, we'll have a Jerseys and Jordan game night. Be ready, because I'll be coming with the smoke. Stop playing with me. I'm coming with the smoke. Prizes will be available. A time will be had. On Sunday, we will be having brunch downtown Napa. We'll be there's a lot of tastings, so you guys can freely walk downtown to the tastings. One of the tastings that I would love for us to go do is Brown Estates, which is the only Black winery in Napa. Okay, so a time will be had, and then Sunday is your time, and you go home when you're ready to go home. But I'm gonna be done. So, I'm gonna need some rest. But I'm joking. But a time will be had. Um, Events that I will be attending 2025 and 2026. So I'll be attending the Boozy Book Tour in Chicago. I will be podcasting live. So, sirs, gentlemen, I will be there with my mic in your face. That's October 17th through the 19th. Storm and Shannon have some amazing activities planned for us. So I don't know what y'all doing. Um, some of them activities I might be Nicole. Some of them activities I might be Shakalaka. Who knows? Who knows? But whatever's going on in Chicago, mind your business. Don't tell nobody. Okay. Um, I will be at the Boozy Book Tour Las Vegas. Again, mind your business. I will not be represented there, only during the podcasting time. Everything else, mind your business. Leave it in Vegas. Okay? Um, April 24th and 25th, I will also be at the Cali Author Book and Converse Takeover, Converse Denim Takeover. April 24th and 25th, I will be hosting. Okay? I will be on my best behavior while I'm hosting. Anything after that, mind your business. So that's what I have going on that I have confirmed. All right? I might be floating to some other events. I have not confirmed anything yet. So once I start confirming things, I'll be adding other events to the roster. Businesses. Again, make sure y'all support Storm Black Girl Tired Book Talk. She is on IG, YouTube, Substack, and the like. The link is in my bio for her page. Make sure that if you want to put your books in an online bookstore owned by a Black woman, Shannon, the literary DFW. She's not playing no games because when she sends your book out and her spend a night with a book or somebody's purchased the books, it comes so beautifully packaged. Make sure y'all support her because she's going to make sure a good light is placed on you authors. And then readers, y'all don't have to go to the Zine all the time. Check Shannon out first. Okay? The Urban Tea Room. If you're looking to do book boxes or you want to turn your characters into teas, hook up with Natalie. Her link is in my bio. I just went into a whole diabetic week. I ate all the cookies, not by myself. I didn't do it by myself. Me and my son and my daddy did taste one or two of them things. E-Sweets. Them cookies are superb. Them cakes in a jar is to die for. If y'all looking for some good desserts, some good cookies, E-Sweets. Erica is a master in the kitchen. And while she be online with us, she be in there baking. And you can see how clean she is because she got her gloves on, her bonnet on. It don't be no hair, nothing in it. I'm just saying, she be with the wind, with the Clorox, she be in there cleaning, and it's always a clean. So you know her cookies are bomb because she's clean and she be in there measuring and all the things. If you're looking to get your book sprayed, the Bibliophile Boutique just is a master. I just saw the Delgado series that she sprayed, and it's 3 books in one, and it looked like it's 1 book, but it's 3 books. It is absolutely gorgeous. If you're looking to get your book sprayed, if you're looking for another person outside of me, because hey, we are one team. If you're looking for someone to run your street team, she does that. She does art team. She does the same thing that I do. Okay? Hook up with Jess. My feelings don't be hurt. I just need somebody to make sure y'all good. That's it. If you're looking for an editor, marked by Ty Lee. Let me tell you something about Ty Lee. Ty Lee don't play no games. I just read this book here yesterday. This here, by N.A. Sabree. And it got Ty Lee written, not Ty Lee as this is her work, but I can tell her editing. It is absolutely beautiful. The work that Ty Lee does in making sure that you guys look good. She gonna tell you the truth. She ain't trying to break your pockets, but make sure that if you're looking for a good editor, you get on her calendar because they've in the field. I'm sure she probably booked through December. Kylie is your girl. And that's all the businesses that I support today. If you're looking for street teams to become a part of, AA Lewis, her link is not in my bio yet, but it will be by the end of today. She has a Geneva. She got stuff going on over there. You know, AA got these book boxes with all the little, for y'all naughty girls. Get the banker's box is what I'm telling you. I got it. It might have a few paddles and things in there. Just saying. Sharice, y'all know Sharice C. Carr, aka Triple C. She got a book coming out. If y'all interested in becoming her art team or be part of her street team, let us know. Let me know. The link is in my bio. I think that's it today. Did I miss anything? Anybody? Did I miss anything? Yes. And also, if you guys are also looking for another live interviews podcast, and I forgot which our name is, Tasha and Coco. If you could just put it in the chat. They're on Thursday nights. They talk to the authors too. Good questions be coming up out of there. And I was like, wait a minute. My, she does good questions. Lady Creole, she has a podcast. We welcome all podcasters.
Absolutely.
She's Catch the Bouquet. So make sure that you guys respectfully go to her DMs or her email. Make sure you guys read how she wants the suggestions. It's over there in her bio, I'm sure. Jaleesa Reeves. She got so much going on. She do author interviews as well as she has 2 pages, one on Instagram and one here on TikTok called Book Me There. All the author events that is happening in this community is listed on that page. So if you have an event that you want posted over there, all you have to do is nicely ask her. It is free. It is for the free. But if you over there spewing nonsense and telling her and demanding, it's not going to go over there. I'm just being honest. So make sure that y'all look at Book Me There. All events are over there. The Black Romance Fest, Indie Love, Southern Hearts. My event is over there. Boozy Book Tour information is over there. Make sure. I don't know if Natalie's event is over there. Books and Blends, their event. I forgot what it's called. I'm sorry. Charge my head, not my heart. It's over there, I'm sure. So make sure that y'all hook up with Jaleesa. If you're looking for events to go to, that's where you find stuff. Okay?
All right.
So thank you, gentlemen, for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
I appreciate y'all. In 30 minutes, Storm will be live, 45 minutes-ish, because, you know, Storm be late. That's my sis. I love her. Not too much on her. I can say it, y'all can't. Okay? But she'll be on live with Latoya and Nicole, so make sure y'all go support them as well. Make sure that y'all, when y'all do go over there, you like the page. That's the least we can do. I thank y'all for the likes. I thank y'all for the gifts. I appreciate y'all. Make sure that y'all show the guests love when y'all come over here. They appreciate it as well. Happy reading, y'all.
Thank you.
Bye, y'all.
Everybody.
Bye.